Great. Jeskai fires. Jeskai, as always, refers to the color combination of blue, white, and red. Fires here refers to Fires of Inventions. You can only cast spells on your turn, and you can cast no more than 2 spells each turn. You may cast spells with a converted mana cost equal to or less than the number of lands you control without paying their mana cost. So the big payoff for this is Cavalier of Flames, which you can play without paying mana for on turn 5 after you cast Fires, and then immediately activate it to give it and your other creatures haste while drawing some cards. We also have Sphinx of Foresight, as well as Tectonic Giant in the 4 slot. So new cards we're trying from Theros today are Tectonic Giant in the 4, as well as some Dream Trawlers here at the top end of the curve, and then a pair of Omen of the Sea down here at the bottom end. Omen of the Sea, notably Teferi Time Raveler bounces. I'd assume they're real people. I can actually tell you. Yeah, it's probably all organic. If you're someone who wants to track when WotC's pumping their numbers, this link here is the Twitch API link that you can see how many people they have in their actual chat. So if they have 7,000 people watching, there's about 5,000 people in their chat, which is about what you expect to see for an event like that. I've been going through a hard spot in life again, and your content gets me excited to play Magic. Keep doing what you're doing. Thanks for the 21 months, J-Money. Hope things get turned around for you. I appreciate you keeping me here. So that Twitch link, you can replace the Magic part with any Twitch channel in lowercase. Yeah, what you want to do to see if someone's botting. So for example, if I put my own name in there, and I can pull this up. So smaller channels are going to have a different ratio. So my channel right now has 468 people in chat. That means Twitch accounts logged in that are watching, and I currently have 514 viewers. The Magic account in comparison currently has 7.2k viewers, and they have 4,800 people in chat. So their ratio is a little bit lower there, but for larger streams, you expect that ratio to be lower. Once Fires is down, Omen is discard fodder for Cavalier. I mean, that, like, as always, the answer to a question like that is it depends. So, like, context is key, context is king. You can't just say always yes, always no to these things. What's up with the discrepancy of viewers to people in chat? So the difference there is there's people watching the stream who aren't logged into Twitch. So the difference there is the number of people between the total viewer count and the number of people in chat. That difference is the number of people watching a stream who aren't currently logged into Twitch while watching. So when Wizards is botting or embedding, there'll be a big difference. Like you'll see a stream that has 50,000 people watching it, but there'll only be like 10,000 people in chat. That's the type of ratio. When the ratio is more than 50%, usually that means something fishy is going on. Usually that means they're buffing the numbers. No, so, and that's another thing too. For sub-only chats, even in chat isn't a good descriptor because it confuses people, even though that's the verb that it uses. So for that number on this channel isn't just people who are subbed. It's anyone who's currently logged in on Twitch watching this channel, even if they can't actively chat. Yeah, I think I'm in for these, right? This is like land 5 and then a Cavalier for post Fires. I don't know, actually, Mask. You could compare. There's a list of chatters there in that API link. That's a public Twitch API. Opponent looks to be playing the Teamer Reclamation deck. This is probably going to be a tough matchup for us. Decks with counterspells, traditionally speaking, are very bad matchups for this Jeskai deck. Jeskai archetype. So I elected to play my Shockland untapped there, as opposed to playing the Fabled Passage and not taking 2. And I did that because I want to be able to use this Fabled Passage to shuffle after I brainstorm with Cavalier of Gales. Goodbye, my giants. For a mobile game, it has a lot going on, Beansy. I agree. And had low expectations when I picked it up and was pleasantly surprised. So we're in an okay spot until I find an expansion explosion here. What kind of phone am I playing it on? I have a OnePlus 6T. So they have 14 mana, so they can draw 10 here. Yeah, they do have a PC client. I mostly play on my phone though. Yeah, I work on my computer all day. If I'm playing games after I'm done streaming, usually they're on my phone. I was like, why can't I play a thing? We were in my draw step still. Raid Shadow Legends, Jeff Freeze. They've had ads plastered literal everywhere. I decided to poke at it a little bit. I found I enjoyed it. It's like peak mobile gaming, and that like there's a bunch of pop-ups for deals to buy when you log in. But other than the pop-ups being obnoxious when you first log in, the actual gameplay I've enjoyed. Yeah, maybe that's a good command question. I agree. We're probably gonna chat about it at different points. I don't know. I don't think I've seen that one. So we didn't get Expansion Explosion last turn, but they also drew 2 cards with Crisis. So they could have it next turn very easily. So I need to block 2 of my things or interact with one of my things plus block 1. Okay, so they're getting to intervention here, but they have to block 2 of my creatures, right? So these trade, this eats this, they go to 5, I get to shuffle and scry 2. Seems pretty good. They're gonna kill Cavalier of Flames instead, take 2 extra. I keep both of these. Them killing the Cavalier of Flames makes any threats I draw off the top less scary, so I think that makes sense for them. It also denies me a scry 2. I think I'm gonna scry 2 with Omen during my upkeep. And the reason why I want to scry 2 with Omen rather than Castle is because scrying with Omen will leave me enough red mana to haste a red Cavalier if I find one. Opponent spinning their tires aggressively here. Trying to find something to do. I don't play a lot of that. That's correct. Before starting to poke at Raid, the last non-card game video game I had played was, I played some Overwatch before Blizzard went full nonsense, and I played some Skyrim before that. But yeah, in general, I don't play a lot of non-card game video games. Oh, right. I also just get to scry with this. I should have waited to crack that until I saw what I scried with that. I'm going to start with this because we could find a red Cavalier here. All right, no red Cavalier. If this just resolves, they're dead because we bounced their blocker. Hey, Mr. Maple Syrup.
Sorry, I'm late.
All right, so Aether Gust sounds good. Dispute sounds good. Spyglass isn't very useful. Now, I never touched Slay the Spire. It's one I've heard a lot of good things about, but it's just not one I've ever poked at. Relatively clean sideboard plan. They're a pseudo combo deck, so I probably don't want this extra trawler. I know Slay the Spire has a Switch release, and I do have a Switch. So I feel like if I were to touch Slay at some point, I would buy it for the Switch, but I also just like not looking for another game. Mobile games are just super convenient. Like, just like always have my phone on me. It would be awkward if I wanted to like had to bring my cell phone to the gym if I wanted to play game while I walk on the treadmill, or had to bring my Switch to the gym. A big fan of walking on the treadmill at like 3 miles an hour playing a game on my phone, chat. That's the real MVP. I think I wait on the Teferi because I don't want to like play this, have them counter it, have them untap and play a Reclamation. Like, if I wait one more turn here, I can Teferi while still holding Aether Gust up, which is appealing. I have very little desire to ever play a game made by Riot. I also don't think the auto chess variations are a very interesting genre. The auto chess variations, I feel like there's a reason why they popped up and fell off so quickly. I feel like the type of gameplay that they generate on average gets pretty repetitive pretty quickly. And like, I guess it's kind of funny for me to classify those games as repetitive while talking about enjoying like Shadow Legends, because Shadow Legends is a game that has a lot of grinding in it, but like the Underlords is repetitive in a way that you have to be focused on it while it's still being repetitive, whereas like the repetitive parts of Raid are like you can kind of like idle or do something else while you do it without putting your full attention on it. It's real windy in this match of Magic, chat. Make sure your cards are sleeved so they don't get damaged when they blow away. What do I lead on? I feel like it's this one. I feel like it's this one because this one gets bigger when we draw cards with these next turn. And not only is it harder to deal with, but it's going to hit harder if we lead on it, right? They're dead, right? Yeah, they're dead. I don't know. I know Croakies has been killing people with this Reclamation deck, but every time we've played against this Teamer Reclamation deck, it just like hasn't done anything and died. I don't know. Maybe that's just the type of deck it is. Maybe it just like either wins or doesn't do anything. But like actual every time we play against it, regardless of what we're playing, I feel like they just flop around a little bit drawing cards and then we kill them. Sure. Sounds like a Teamer deck, right? Hey, I will have you know that my boy Savage Knuckleblade and I, we go way back and we top 8 in a lot of tournaments, okay? Oh, almost assuredly going hog wild. Almost assuredly. Did I ever get into sports? Nope. Alright, so need a Clarion off the top here real bad. Alright, I think we're dead, chat. I think we've died. Am I gonna watch the Super Bowl? I am not. We don't have network television in my house. We have Netflix and Hulu and Disney Plus and Twitch and YouTube. None of my TVs do anything other than stream it. Twitch is streaming the Super Bowl? Really? That's wild. Maybe I'm supposed to hold that because I have a brainstorm. Correct. Correct. As more and more boomers stop being the primary audience, those services are going to become less and less popular. Alright, looking for... Oh, I can't cast Trawler. I was say looking for a Trawler, but actually not, because I can't cast that yet. My children get so tilted every time we go to my mother-in-law's house, and they're, like, watching her cable TV. They really don't like commercials, chat. And they're always incredibly confused as to why the commercials are being forced on them. I honestly can't say I blame them. I honestly can't say I blame them. Or they're like they want to pick what they watch. They're like, well, what do you mean I can't just pick? I want to watch this. Yeah, it's hard to tell them they can't pick what show they want. Wow, are we actually going to win this game? I think we're going to win this game. It's kind of wild. They stumbled like just long enough. I think I'm bottoming this too. Am I? I think I can do better. I'm going to scry again on my upkeep. Maybe that's greedy. I should just take any blocker. Yeah, I should probably just take in any blocker there.
I've got time.
Alright, good enough. Good enough, chat. Couple of Bone Crushers, couple of Decrees. Do I want Time Wipe? I'm not sure if I do. Not sure that I do. I kind of feel like I just want these down at the cheap end. Do I want the third Trawler? Maybe 6/6 is a lot of mana. Maybe Tech Giant's not very good. Put in a Trawler and a Time Wipe. Let's do that. Yeah, maybe Gust is worthwhile. I could see that. And Teferi doesn't really stop Ember Cleave. And like, he gets attacked down. You play the new PvP battle system on Pokemon Go? I've not. We don't play much Pokemon Go during the winter. That's like our walking around game during the summer. Listen, I don't make anyone watch commercials. Feel free to ad block here and anywhere else. If you ad block on my channels and you're not a Twitch sub, consider becoming a $1 a month Patreon on my Patreon page. If you're someone who ad blocks, if you donate even $1 per month to the creators you watch their stuff with ad block on, you're making them more money giving them $1 per month than they would get from you watching ads on their channel. So like, you know, that's the reality of how those metrics end up working out a lot of the time. Fox News labeled John Bolton as a pawn for left. Yeah, the G. I almost feel bad for people who are real conservatives, because real conservatives don't have a party in the United States really any more than progressives really have their own party. The GOP is Donald Trump's party at this point. It's people who toe the line for Donald Trump, and anybody who doesn't, who dares to have a spine, is thrown out. It's branded as a traitor. The Bezo Bucks are worth more than $1 to me. Speaking of Croakies, maybe we'll get to play against the man, the myth, the legend on Reclamation. As always, I'm sure Croakies is streaming, and you can watch this match from both sides if you pull up his channel too. Remember, please don't tell me context or contents of his hand. That is not appreciated, and we'll get you timed out very quickly in my chat. GOP stands for Grand Old Party, refers to the Republican Party in the United States. The party that Donald Trump co-opted. Rachel Maddow, thank you for the Prime support. I appreciate that. Welcome to Hooglandia. I think I'm double bottoming, even though this is a castle here. Just like looking for some actual action. Look at that. Found some action. Thanks for supporting Bernie. Thank you for supporting Bernie. Make sure to get out and vote, people. Register for that primary. Well, we found something to do with our Clarion at least. We got that going for us. Yeah, if you do dip into Croaky's channel, Make sure to keep an eye on his Twitch chat to be reminded what unfiltered Twitch chat tends to look like. If you spend most of your time in Hoaglandia, it's easy to forget what unfiltered Twitch chat looks like. No play there is really good for us. Very surprised to not get counterspelled or like Brazen Borrower bounced. I think if they just pass back, I might lead on Teferi here. I mean, follower only mode is good because it's a filter that keeps out some spam. I think I'm going to hold on to Bonecrusher here. I think we're going to hold on to Bonecrusher. It's a little bit of reach because we're putting them to 2 here, right? So Crusher's lethal next turn. Yeah, part of why I eventually went to sub-only mode was not only for mental health reasons, but also because, like, when you consistently get over 1,000 people in your chat, it often becomes obnoxious. It becomes difficult to interact with people you actually care about interacting with. This should be lethal. Hey, Ty Glorious, thanks for the 10 months. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Well, so far, maybe he's going to show us something different in the post-board games, but so far, our opponent does nothing and dies while playing that deck seems to be holding true. Tectonic Giant really does not line up well against their sweeper, huh? They're technically correct there to play Teferi first. Yeah, probably. I don't think it really matters, though. It depends on, like, what you're looking to get out of your chat, too. Like, I think one of the big appealing things that I do better than a lot of other streamers is that I'm really good at catching messages in chat and responding to them without people having to highlight them. And if that's not your goal, if you want people, like, there are some Twitch chat cultures where, like, they want people to spam stuff. That's what they do. It builds energy for the streamer, and they play off it, and that's their shtick, and that's good for them, and it works for them. But, like, I wanted to slow mine down because that's not my goal here. Yeah, I agree, Holy. For smaller channels, sub-only chat doesn't really make sense, but if your goal is to interact... Talking about $1 Patreons, if you had block, got me a $1 Patreon. Thank you, Benjamin. If you're still watching, I appreciate it. Did you see that Facebook has to give Illinois users money because of the auto-tagging of their pictures? That's funny. My Facebook account doesn't have pictures on it anymore, I don't believe. My actual Facebook account is disabled. I still have a messenger account with them, but my actual profile doesn't exist anymore. Pretty sure we just bottoms up here. I'm looking for, like, Fires and Cavaliers and Teferi at this point. Learned a lot watching your streams. Well, thanks for keeping me around, Armored Panther. I appreciate the 7 months. Welcome back. That's great. I appreciate you, Crookies. Usually content creators are pretty low threshold tolerance for people trashing other content creators. Caleb D is really good about that too. Whenever I pop into his chat, there's always a pooper or two that tries to pipe up, and he's usually pretty good to like, hey, if you can't say something nice, don't say nothing at all. No, yeah, it's good. It's good. Like, especially other people like Croquis and like Caleb who do this as a job like I do. Like, they know what it's like to be out there. So we're looking for like an Aether Gust at this point, or a Fires, or a Mystic Dispute. We're looking for something that can interact next turn, ideally. Alright, I mean, like, that's a castable spell that does something. We get to go 3, 4, 5, 6 now. And, like, put the onus on Croquis to be able to interact with us every single turn, here or die. TCC in general just makes great content. There's a reason why he's the biggest. TCC is Tolarian Community College. Do we have a TCC command? Can someone grab a link to Tolarian Community College's YouTube page and make a command for it if you're a mod? Yeah, that was the perfect draw. If I could stack my deck there, that's the one we'd put on top, huh? I'm gonna block. This is probably just the deal for Sweeper. It could be like a Bonecrusher, but like Bonecrusher's not very good against me anyways. So there's a good chance it's not in his deck anymore and they might just be sweeping. Oh, that makes sense. Okay, that's a good play. That makes a lot of sense. Okay, that's a Teferi. So I think we go land, and then I'm going to take this opportunity to put Teferi into play and I'm going to plus this to make a, what's it called, worse if they have it. And then we'll use this castle at the end of their turn to scry these lands away. And then I'm not going to scry at my upkeep because I want the ability to draw Red Cavalier and haste with it.
Might be a bad idea.
Crunch, crunch. I don't know that we're fully in garbage. I'm not super familiar with this teamer deck, so I wouldn't be surprised if they could have something to pull out here, but we're definitely pretty far ahead at this point, right? Like, that's almost certainly the case. We'll get to scry 2 at end of turn as well. The fact that we have Teferi and an incredible amount of pressure puts them in a pinch. They're not a real control deck. They don't have, well, they're a control deck, but they don't have a real sweeper. Sorry, that's the articulation. So their sweeper only does 4. I mean, we can talk about his hand. He's got Hydrate Crisis, and we are making speculation about his hand. Like, we talked about things he could have, right? Like when I blocked. That's good. Good Magic is talking about what they could potentially have. Okay, this is a good series for them. They can have an untap here and then be able to kill one or both of my things. We have an explosion for 4 here. Kill my Cavalier of Gales. So, like, they know I can't do anything other than scry, so, like, I'm under fires. Oh, that's true. I can't hexproof the Dream Trawler. That's true. They can't kill the Dream Trawler. They can kill the Cavalier, though. And they can only currently explosion for 4. Yep. So now I get 2 Scry 2s. So if we find a red Cavalier here, they're dead. We get 5 looks at it. Is Omen lethal? I think I'm supposed to bottom that just because I have so many more Scries at this point. Alright, sweet, they're dead. This Fire's deck is still really good, chat. Whee! Dream Trawler just gets to be a real hefty boy. Yeah, I agree, Polly. I feel like Fires of Intervention is a really good example of a sweet payoff card. Cards like that, cards that you self-impose a restriction to get a payoff that you have to build around are awesome. Speaking of awesome, hear that release ready sound effect there? Oh wait, if I call that a release ready sound effect, would Wizards fine me $500 for saying that if I was in the MPL? I feel like calling that a release ready sound effect might be a finable offense. Feel like there's a strong possibility. For people that are just joining and wonder what absurdity we're talking about, here's a link to my tweet about it. So part of the MPL rules for 2020 include that basically if you say bad things about Wizards of the Coast or their subsidiaries or their sponsors, they will fine you or rescind an invite to an MPL event if you're in the MPL. Is the TLDR. Is the command not working? Maybe the command didn't get made quickly. No, bad things are definitely not well defined. The command must not get. Someone, a mod, feel free to grab the link off my Twitter and make a command. I appreciate y'all. Oh, it's MPL rule. That's it. MPL rule. Feel free to relink that command to other things. All right, so I know I kept that Cavalier there earlier, but we have to find Clarion at this point or we're dead. So we're going to dig for Clarion. Rats, chat. I was waiting with bated breath for my Rivals invite too. I thought for sure I was going to get a discretionary invite to Rivals. It also just means, like, with that clause, if I ever thought I wanted to, like, put in the effort to, like, work competitively to actually qualify as opposed to getting a special invite, like, I don't even want to qualify now, right? Like, I literally just can't do my job and be me with that contract. So, like, it's not even something I'm interested in earning at this point. I think I keep Teferi because it's good with Omen. Oh, I'm actually not gonna... No, I am gonna keep it, right? Yeah. Well, okay, and to be fair, it's technically not a fine because I believe fining people for stuff like that's illegal. But it's not a fine. You just get docked your future winnings. So they don't fine you, they dock your future winnings. Is an important legal distinction there. Pass back here. We'll crack this Omen to Scry. Looking for another Clarion at this point. Wow, just packing it in, huh? Pack it up, pack it in. Let me begin. Okay, Teferi comes out here for sure. I think Cavalier of Gales comes out. These seem like enough threats at the top end. This archetype's still very good. So something that we've talked a little bit about is that... Oh, why did I put Legion Warboss in my deck? Sorry, that should not be in there. All right, this is good, this is good. So something that we talked a little bit about earlier in this season is that a lot of good decks like Jeskai Fires, like Jund Oven, are decks that people are not really playing on the ladder right now, or like right after the set releases, because they just want to try new sweet things. So like decks like this from last season that are still very good see less play because people just are bored of them and want to try new cards. All right, Sphinx of the good hands, I'm counting on you. Pretty sure I need to bottom the second Clarion here, because I just want to hit my first 4 land drops this game. This is actually awkward, because it shuffles these cards back in. But I want to be able to play this on 2 guaranteed, so I can hit my 3rd land drop on time. So it's definitely correct to lead on Fabled Passage here, even if it does feel bad after using the Sphinxes. Okay, because we hit the 3rd land naturally, I think I just go tapped land pass here, and then shock Clarion the following turn. So we're going to take 4, 5, 6 here down to 9. We're going to shock to 7. The fact that they have cleave in play, though, makes any future creatures they draw a lot scarier. I'm going to have to shock to play Fires next turn. If I hit the 2nd land off the scry, would I have played that differently? Yes, definitely. Okay, well now... Huh? Is it crazy to shock to 3 here? I think I want to shock to 3 and pass. Like trying to figure out what I'm doing here. We're gonna stomp the Phoenix, gust the Embercleave. 3 is dead to a recurred Phoenix. That's a good observation. They need another land for that though, and I have Sphinxes. Yeah, their draw was really good, and we're still in this game, right? It's like the big deal. Just get this out of here so it doesn't come back and cause trouble later. Looking for a land next turn. And we're done here. This deck is really good. Man, that's just been like, we've been playing this deck for 45 minutes. Are we like 4-0 or 5-0? Just hot knife through butter, huh? We definitely lost a game at some point. We've not lost a match, though. Wow, Matman just had a really good catch in the subs Discord. The MPL rules explicitly forbid, I want to quote it. Organizations that are associated with products or characteristics that are not conducive to family-friendly Magic the Gathering brands such as drugs, tobacco, vape products, or alcohol are not okay. But at the same time, Wizards explicitly reserved the right to have alcoholic beverages as a sponsor. How long did it take me to run out of energy in Raid? I didn't start draining my energy every day, probably for 2 or more weeks. They give you a ton of energy to start. Ton of energy to start. And now, and even once you don't have a ton of extra energy, like, they give you free refills twice a day when you do the quests and just playtime, so there's still plenty to play. I started playing some Raid Shadow Legends, Jin, in my off mobile gaming time. It's a good grindy game. If you're looking for a time waster, it's reasonable. Well, that's a good draw. All right, so I think I actually want to stomp here. I think I'm gonna stomp this and then Teferi unsummon this when they play it. I assume Mono Red's going to be extra popular on Arena for today and the last couple of days because it's the end of the season and people are trying to make last minute runs into the top 1200. Like, this person's 98%. So like, if they have a good run this morning, they could finish in the top 1200 still. Looking for lands and fires at this point. Just gonna play this out and bounce this again. Just keep tempoing them. Have you seen their... Someone else just mentioned that, and I haven't. I've seen their ads plastered all over YouTube stuff and, like, embedded sponsored stuff, but I haven't seen their, like, generic advertisements. Alright, so I think we just Clarion here at this point. And then we play a tapped land, and then next turn we play Dream Trawler. Oh, I could have done that at instant speed, right? I don't know, like, they're probably gonna play this out, though, and I really don't want to give them the opportunity to play a cleave. I don't know, this makes their things make tokens when they die, so I'm probably just doing it then anyways. Dr. Brouhaha, thanks for the 2/3 of a year, welcome back. Thanks for keeping me around. All right, so this is an Ember Cleave attack, so we're just going to say no blocks here. So we take 10 here, but Trawler's going to lifelink some of that back. Thanks, Karin. I'll take a peek at those later. That's a Torbrand for next turn. That's really scary. Need to draw a way to interact with this or Ember Cleave. Can I kill them? This could discard 4, draw 4, which puts this to 8. And then it goes to 9 when it attacks. This makes it 10. No, that's not lethal, right? Cavalier puts everything I'm counting. So this would be +4, +5, +6. Yeah, it's not quite lethal. It lets me gain a bunch of life. It's not lethal, chat. So I attack, I draw 1 more. It's 17. They're at 20. Am I still dead? I think I'm still dead. Because they're going to play Torbrand, which will make this an 8. I think we're still dead next turn. Yeah, if we had fires out, it was lethal. When the old 20-point swing isn't good enough. Anybody remember when aggro decks weren't combo decks? Pepperidge Farm remembers. No, this is 20, chat. This is hitting for 20 effectively, so we should be dead here. Yeah, and then it hits for 10. We're too short. We're at 19 and they're hitting for 20. Yeah, the Torbrand pump happens twice because of double strike. It's fine. We have a good plan here. Close game. Trawler almost pulled it out. Our deck is a combo deck, Toolboxer. This format is full of combo decks. The deck that we are playing, I would 100% describe as a combo control deck. In fact, had we had our combo piece, we would have killed them there, right? If I had fires out, the Cavalier would have been lethal with triple pumps. We were 3 points short and it would have done another 4 or 5. Sure. I think I'm actually just going to 1-for-1 this here, with the plan being next turn, play Omen plus Decree. Oh, I didn't think about... I don't know if I had... Yeah, maybe we had enough lands in our hand to not be dead there. I didn't think about that. Yeah, because we got the trigger. I don't remember how many lands. Someone go back and check the tape. We might have missed lethal when we blocked. We might have missed lethal on the block. It would have put them to 1. Okay, I didn't stop and count that. I definitely should have. No, people are saying with blocking, we could have maybe had enough lands. Based on what it was in our hand. I don't remember though. We're looking for fires plus land here. Bonecrusher. I only have 1 red source. I think I just have to double bottom here. I don't know. Might be wrong. Aether Gust is not bad. Maybe I'm supposed to shock this in so I can scry 2. Because if I find an untapped land for Trawler next turn, it's real good. Let's take this off the table. Go to 14. Yep. All right, well, that block trades with their giant until they have put a giant sword on it. Okay, we'll take Bonecrusher for next turn. So we can stomp this and then do this. Okay, well, we're in solidly not dead yet territory. Dead to a variety of things, but not quite dead on board. That includes a list of things we're dead to. Good games, opponent. We're bound to eat it at some point, huh? Been running pretty good so far. For the record, if we cared about our rank, the season's ending soon, we wouldn't be playing, so I don't care if we like lose a couple in Fallout. Let's play one more with this before we roll on to the next one. Deck's been a good set overall, see if we can get one more solid one in. If you haven't seen this deck in action before or recently, this exact deck list is the one that you've been able to find up on my website for a little while, jeffhoagland.com. Great one-stop shop for all your different standard deck needs, both sweet things and tiered things. All of the things that find their way up there, I think, are relatively competitive. Reasonable choices if you like their play patterns. All right, hopefully this Scryland can find us a blue source, huh? Actually, don't even need blue sources explicitly, just need like 2 more lands in general. All right, step 1. Tectonic Giant's been kind of middling. The person that submitted it explicitly wanted to see this card tested. I do think there's some merit to having additional good 4-mana cards so you can play Fires, play a good 4-drop right away more consistently. But so far I kind of feel like the jury's out. Hasn't been bad, but also hasn't been anything I'd write home about. I think I just draw a card with this right away. Do my best to guarantee my land drops here. Would one of the new 4-mana sweepers be good? No, not necessarily. I don't feel like this deck needs more sweepers. Like, there's a reason why I'm not playing more of them. So I don't, again, pick a problem, identify a solution. Oh, well, they're playing like Simic, they're playing like Teamer Flash with Uro. I was hoping for a good last matchup, but looks like we're not going to get that. The flashy matchups for this archetype are basically impossible. They just run you down. In fact, I'm going to go ahead and concede the match and try and find the different one. I don't think there's things you can really meaningfully do to make that matchup better. You just gotta kind of hope to get lucky. As always, the play patterns of the flash decks kind of suck. You just like sit there and hope they eventually run out of a counterspell. Like sometimes they do and you'll be fine, and oftentimes they won't and you just won't do anything and you'll die. What about blue-white control? Blue-white control is probably a hard matchup too. It's probably better than the flash matchup, if only because they don't tend to have a very good clock, so eventually some of your threats can stick. Hey, Lieutenant Bird, thanks for popping in to drop off that prime. I appreciate you keeping me around. Hope you're having a wonderful Friday wherever you're at in the world. So I'm going to keep that Clarion there because I want to leave myself the option to, because the Fabled Passage means that if they're playing a deck where that Clarion's not good, I can shuffle it away. Hi, I'm just following the MPL rules by paying 500 to say I don't like the flash deck's play patterns. Oh, the highlighted message cost is perfect. That's perfect. That's phenomenal. It's so convenient that it worked out. It worked out to already having it at 500 to do that. The Gank, thanks for the brand new Prime support. I appreciate that. Welcome to Huglandia. Also, for those who kind of care about arena rank and want to be paying attention here, yes, we lost 2 matches with that concession being the second one, and we went from rank 190 to rank 1100. So with 2 match losses, we dropped... With 2 match losses, we dropped almost 1,000 spots. The arena ladder is extremely volatile, and you need to remember, if you're someone that's going to put in the effort to try and grind it, it says nothing about your ability to play Magic or your intelligence if you don't do well. The ladder is incredibly high variance, just like Magic, and it's all about getting lucky and hitting good streaks. It's not about playing good Magic consistently. Yes, next month is a month where if we hit a lucky streak and get into the top 1200, we'll probably sit on it. I'd like to forfeit 500 shillings to advise that I think the ranking system on Arena discourages experimentation and leads to boring, repetitive ladder gameplay. Definitely. Big agree. I don't know, and that's the problem. So just to strap my tinfoil hat solidly on for a minute, the biggest issue with that MPL rule is that even if you think Wizards of the Coast is going to use it sparingly, the psychological impact on the people who are in the league of what they have to pause to think about if they actually want to say it or not before they hit that send tweet button, like, this is like, okay, this is good, reasonable feedback, but could it be viewed and cost me an invite? Could it be viewed and cost me $500? Like, that's very real. And like I tweeted, if they were honestly just trying to ensure that a bad actor didn't qualify and do a bunch of damage intentionally, they would not have the clause in there that says, even if we determine it was accidental what you did, we're fining you $500. You don't fine people $500 for an accident if you're looking to create a rule like that in good faith. This 500 shillings business is just an elaborate plot to prevent chat from becoming shillionaires. Listen, memes that prevent shillionaires are probably in my best interest, okay? I'm just saying. All right, I think I just be a little conservative here and play the Dream Trawler, and then next turn we kill them by a lot. I work for, wait, did I miss lethal? No, right? This wasn't plus extra? Yeah, this would have only been plus. This would have been 9 plus 4 is 13. I only have one land in there because they would have just blocked this one. They were one off. All right, big green monsters. Aether Gust sounds great. Trawler and Time Wipe sound good. This really doesn't line up well into what they're doing. I don't know that Bonecrusher kills enough of what they're doing. Clarion's like okay, but not stellar. Maybe I trimmed the 4th copy of that since I'm bringing in these 2 Time Wipes. It did give me a good idea though. I think I'm gonna have my emote guy work on a negative $500 emote, so folks can spam that whenever we say something that's a liability. We've wanted a liability emote for a while, but there hasn't been a good, like, way to put that into picture form, and this rule gives us a really clean way to put that into picture form. Is making that emote itself an action that triggers the use of the emote? 100%. I like that they created a rule to keep you off the emote. I mean, to be fair, that rule was probably, I don't even know if it was related to Jerry. I was just saying, maybe it was related to Jerry Thompson, but Jerry Thompson, like, bowed out of his own volition. So, like, I'm not even sure that it applies to him. Shillionaires shouldn't exist. Bump the Titan deck. Sounds good. We're caught in the liability loop. I'm just gonna bottom aggressively here. We're just looking for fires at this point. I want to find cards that let me kill them quickly. Perfect. Just like we drew it up, chat. I'm not sure, Lieutenant Bird. It might be okay. Someone else had mentioned that one. I feel like there's a chance that just like the 1-drop enchantment creature having lifelink is good enough. Teferi is just so brutal against people that stumble. Just like means they don't have a chance to actually ever get back in the game. Ooh, that's a sweet draw. Let's get our scry on. Although, do I even need that? They just tap out again. I don't even really need that, right? Pump Titan. Sounds good, Zero. All those will get applied at the end of the stream today, as always. As a heads up for my regulars, I know I've been live the last couple of weekends. I am taking all this weekend off. So after today's long stream, I won't be live again until Monday. Control decks that don't give people time to stumble, huh?
Don't worry, I got this.
And now, like, there's 4 lands in my bins. Dude, if they kill these, they die. This was a really good set with this deck. Archetype super powerful. I don't know how I feel about Tectonic Giant in the deck. Like I said, I think like it's a 2 of at most, because I do think having more than 4 4-drops is good with fires. If I didn't want this card here, I think you could play the other Bonecrusher's main, but this card is better than Bonecrusher against probably mid-range and control decks, although being worse against aggro. Dream Trawler was great. I think 2 Trawlers main with a 3rd in the board felt like a pretty good split overall. The rest of it's just like very similar to the deck from last season. Oh, Omen. I was happy with Omen. Omen was reasonable. We played Shimmer before. I think I prefer the Scry to the Shimmer because sometimes you want to keep both cards. Mr. Thinker, thank you for the brand new tier 1 sub. Welcome to Hoaglandia. Hope you're having a wonderful Friday wherever you're at in the world. All right, what are we doing next year? We've got Jeskai Bio combo coming up next, which is an incredibly sweet deck that we've played once before. So I'm going to go ahead and hit a quick ad roll, and when we get back in a few minutes, we're going to play this 3-color, sufficiently large finite combo deck. Back in a few, folks. Thanks for hanging out. You think Kenrith has a place over Cavalier? No, I don't